Welcome back to Popes and Pylons. Let's talk a little bit about PDXCON 2019, the aftermath of that. I just returned. All I did in between returning and now was record an episode of EU4 for you guys because, well, that has to come out every day. And that needs to be done first. But there is a little bit of time. It is a Sunday afternoon, so why not talk a little bit about PDXCON and, my experience at PDXCON, and of course mostly about the new announcements there. Now, I brought a few horrible smartphone photographs, and you can see them down there somewhere. But they're totally not big enough to, good enough to put into any size. Also not at all comprehensive. So I guess just a little bit of flavor there. But yeah, light show and a bad smartphone camera don't go well together at all. So, PDXCON. I was there only for the Saturday, which is the main event. There was a mostly press day and a day for people who paid very high amount for the tickets. I think it was like 500 euros. Don't quote me on that. It was very expensive for the Friday tickets. If you wanted to be in there. I'm not big enough to be counted press, so I didn't get to go to the press event, play all the games up front, none of that stuff. But I did go to Saturday's event, which included the main announcement show, of course, of which most of these pictures here are, and then a whole bunch of panels, mostly. Paradox people talking about different stuff. And there were other things. You could play tons of PCs all around the floor. We could play horrible games, new games, old games, all of that. Preview rooms for Vampire Bloodlines 2. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, I think is what it's called. Let me check. I should have a thing here that says it on there. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Of which we, by the way, got a free copy. Let's hope I'm not showing the code here. I'm not. Free copy when it comes out for all visitors of PDXCON. Not really a game I'm super interested in right now. I'll have a look at it, of course. It's free when it comes out. But it's not necessarily totally my jam. And a room for the new game by John Brenner Romero Games, Empire of Sin, of which I got this thing. I don't even know what it is. Is it a coaster? Sticker? I don't know. It says how to open it. I have no idea what this is. But I got it. A 1920s Chicago strategy game, which is it's actually right there on the screen. It's pretty exciting to me. I have no idea about the game mechanics. I didn't get to play it at all. There were super long lines of people who wanted to try it out, get to that room. There was no chance. I didn't see any gameplay. But the idea of a running sort of a mob empire in 1920s Chicago, that sounds a lot of fun to me. And I'm definitely going to check that out when that comes out. But of course, mostly I was there for the panels and for the ability to meet all the people. Because, and that's probably the greatest thing for me about PDXCon, is that everybody's just so approachable. Not only the Paradox people, although that is great too, who are just there in the crowd. You can talk to them at the at the lunch places and just when they're around wherever. Super approachable, but also people like Quill18, for example, was there again as last year. He just is in the crowd. He's just there and you can talk to him, and that's super fun. Ghastly Mexican was also there, if you know him, but I wanted to meet him because I watched the roleplay stuff he does, but I didn't find him. I saw him on the balcony once, but I never got to meet him, shake his hand. Anyway, tons of people just in the crowd around. You can talk to them. That's just awesome. Although I must say that PDXCon this year was a bit big for me, even bigger than last time. It seems to be only growing. And obviously that reduces access to everything, right? The more people you have interested in meeting all these Paradoxians, the harder it will be to get to them. The bigger the lines were, there were giant lines to the merch shop all day. I did later in the day manage to actually get in there and buy a poster, but yeah, I hope they go smaller again. I don't know, it's probably not a good business decision, but PDXCON, the smaller it is, the better it probably is, at least for the people who get in. But let's talk about content, right? What do we get to know? I think the big news of the day is Crusader Kings 3. That's just huge. I mean, it makes sense to me. The old Crusader Kings is one of the bigger names in the Paradox franchise. It's really good, it's really enjoyable. I have the issue, and that's why I've never played it on stream here or on the video here, is that the strategic layer is not super deep. It is not a map painting game. It's about weird, funny events, odd things happening, marrying people and all that. I don't find it to be super exciting to watch, but maybe that's going to change with the new one as well. But giant improvement to the technology layer on the bottom. There's a whole genetic system going on, and just a way to start fresh instead of running the 10-year-old game. That just seems really good. And is it 10 years? I don't know if it's actually 10 years, but it's old. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to that. And they did say that they're gonna have more stuff in there than CK2 has with the expansions. At least I believe I heard that. And that's always an issue for the Paradox games, right? You bring out HOI 4 and then there are all these features that were missing from HOI 3 because HOI 3 had a long time for expansions, and then HOI 4 comes out, has no expansions, and it's not as big. And similarly, Imperator Rome just fell flat on its nose, partially because it was just not as expansive as, say, Europa Universalis or Crusader Kings with all the expansions. So that will be interesting to see whether they actually get all that stuff in there. But I'm positive and hopeful, and I just want it. Sometime 2020, probably not before summer. That would surprise me. So it's gonna be a while. But when it happens, that'd be great. That's shot right there, and this one too, from the reveal of CK3. That's actually really nice. They carried in a bunch of candles, and then had a whole choir in black hoods singing and all that, and then Henry came in as the king. It was pretty spectacular. Very nice. So CK3, awesome. Now, Europa Universalis, not so much. I've already talked about this a little bit in our EU4 video, the recent one, but there have been no news. No news about EU4 except for, yes, the Europa, the Europe-focused expansion for Europa Universalis is still coming, and the design is done, it just needs to be completed. And the other news we got was that Jake, the game director for EU4, is not going to be replaced anytime soon. Instead, Johan is sort of taking the job as, you know, he's taking the job, but he's not really doing the job because he's saying the team has things well in hand. He's just going to say yes or no to important business decisions, but that's about it. So it's all about Grugi's design, and well, we'll see how that turns out. But I'm a bit sad that we don't get any more news, and I'm a bit afraid for what that means for EU4. But we'll see. We'll see. If EU4 is sort of getting the second-hand treatment now, maybe we're gonna have an even bigger look at CK3 when that comes out. So no news for EU4. There's news for Stellaris, a bunch. There was console news, and there's gonna be a new expansion coming out called it's just called Federations. And there's also a content pack called Lithoids, where you can play rock people who eat rocks. And we're introduced in a video that started like Queen's We Will Rock You, of course. Watch that video if you can find it. It is quite good. Convention Goers got a free pass for the species pack, so I guess I'm gonna have to check that out at some point. Federations update too. I'm not gonna go into details. You guys have not shown much interest in Stellaris here on the channel, so I'm not gonna go deep into that. What else did we have? Let me see, what other swag did I get here? Bloodlines 2, which is gonna come out later someday. Something about the Xbox Game Pass for PC. which I don't really care about. So no news on EU4, no news on ZK3. Oh yes, new expansion for Hearts of Iron 4, La Resistance, with a pretty nice cover, focusing on France and Spain and a little bit of Portugal, and of course using the whole new resistance mechanics for Hoi 4 that they've been building, and also introducing espionage. And Dan Lind, the game director of Hearts of Iron, he said that he hopes he got a espionage system right. There was a talk later in the day with all the different game directors, and they were talking about, well, things that Johan has said no to. And espionage was one of the things where they had a big discussion of whether that should be in any game, because there's never been a good espionage system in any game, according to them. But they tried, and let's see how that goes. So I'm certainly going to play it, maybe on the channel. Let me know if that's something you're interested in. Imperator Rome is going to get a free content pack along with a, well, free update. The content pack is going to have missions for Rome and focus on the Punic Wars, I believe. Yes, Punic Wars focus. And what's even more interesting to me is that the update will introduce mission trees, and they are apparently, it's sort of a dynamically generated mission system that adapts to where you are at in, or the sort of gives you missions that are sensible for the position you're in, which sounds a bit like a mix of the old EU mission systems and the new mission trees there, or maybe Hearts of Iron focus trees or something. Could be interesting, could be interesting. I'm definitely going to have to check out Imperator once again. I think I'm going to wait for the Livy update and that free content pack, and then we're going to go back in. There's been a lot of changes to Imperator, and I am sort of itching to try out, because I believe in Johan, that he can make this an actually good game. Now, there was a big talk by Johan about the changes they made to Imperator, and how they got to the point where they got a game out that really wasn't up to snuff, that really didn't fulfill what fans were expecting. I was not able to attend that talk because there was a different talk at the same time, but I do hope that it's going to be on the Twitch channel, and I will watch it, and I'm very interested in what he has to say. From what I heard from other people, it was very sort of humble and accepting that they made mistakes, and if they learn from this and make better games in the future, then it was absolutely worth it. So yeah, let's hope that that's a thing that happens. What else? Yes, Surviving the Aftermath. Now, this is the second title in the Surviving series. I didn't know it was a series before, but apparently. So Surviving Mars, and now we have Surviving the Aftermath, which is a post-apocalyptic city builder. It has things from Surviving Mars, but there are also a lot of things that remind me of like Banished maybe, or even Frostpunk in the way it plays. I bought it. It's available in early access right now, starting yesterday, I believe. And I played it a little bit. Unfortunately, well, you know, I just came home from PDXCON. So when did I play it? I played it a little bit waiting for my train while I still had Wi-Fi. And then I wanted to play it more on the train, and I couldn't. Because apparently Surviving the Aftermath requires you to be logged into the Epic Store, which requires you to be online to log in. So I just couldn't start it. And I'm not going to go deep into, or at all, into the whole Epic Store discussion. I have an opinion. It's not a very favorable opinion, but I have an opinion. And right now I'm not happy, because I installed the Epic Store to get into the early access for the game, because it's only available there and some console thing, Xbox I believe, and it will be available on other platforms when it's released, but not during early access. So I had to get the Epic Store, I had to install it, and then I wanted to play it on the train so I could tell you guys all about it, maybe prepared for a small series in the game. But no, online only? Screw you. That's just not nice. It's just, I mean, it's early access. It might just be an oversight, right? Maybe it's not a decision for online only. Maybe the Epic Store is not really prepared for offline things, because most of the games on there are online games maybe. Maybe Paradox could have set a setting that would allow it, or Hammermont Games, I guess, could have set a setting that would allow it to be offline, available offline, and they didn't, or something. Many things could have gone wrong there, right? And that might still be changed. But online, forced online for a single-player game, not okay. Not okay. Be better. Okay. Enough of that rant. I'm still gonna probably play it. I'm gonna play it a little bit more on my own to see how ready it is already for production, and then we're maybe gonna have something on the channel about that. Let me know if you're interested, because that will certainly shape my opinion. New expansion for Planetfall Revelations. I don't know much about it. I listened to the talk. I didn't care too much. I have played no Planetfall ever since I stopped playing it here on the channel, and I didn't play much on the channel. It's not Planetfall, I don't think. It's not that Planetfall is a bad game, I don't think. I think I'm just over 4X. I think 4X is just not something that works for me anymore. It's too bland, too much the same, too much everybody's in the same spot, and then you expand and you expand and you expand, you meet enemies who also expand and expand, you try to expand faster, and then you eat them. It just doesn't really do it for me anymore. Would love to see a good 4X game that I would actually like, but I don't know if that's the thing. Speaking of games that I don't really play anymore, a new expansion for Battletech has been announced, Heavy Metal, and apparently it's all about new mechs. Now there are other things in there, but there are 10 new mechs, and there's like this one super heavy 470-ton mech, which apparently is a lot. I mean, it is a lot. 470 tons is a lot, but yeah, I'm probably not the target group for that because I don't care. It's the weight of my mech is just not something that I care about. But I know that Battletech interested people are very, very different from me there. So go ahead, play it, buy it, do it, all that. It's just probably not for me. And yeah, that's all I have in my list here. I don't think there's much more to talk about. Overall, I really enjoyed my PDXCON experience again. I think last year in Stockholm was a bit better. The venue this time was... didn't love it. You can see that a tiny bit on these screenshots. It's like an old... I don't know if it's a factory building or... It's called Funkhaus, which would be a radio place, something. It doesn't look like a place where radio was made, but I don't know the history of that place. But it's a ginormous concrete place with rounded ceilings, and the acoustic was just bad. Even in this main stage room that you see on most of these photos, there were places where you just couldn't understand what came out of the speakers. And then this small room here, they actually had to put headphones on all the people for the talks. Not in the one talk I had in the photograph there because there were just too many people, but generally they had, for that room, they had little headphones for people to put on so they could understand the speakers. There was a room next door that was loud, which was part of the reason, but it's also the acoustics of the whole thing. Didn't love the venue. Didn't love the venue at all. But hey, they can learn from that for next time, right? I did like that it was in my own country, but yeah, I'd rather be in Stockholm again, and that other place with not as many people. That would be cool. I think that's about it from my PDXCON talk. I don't really know what much else to say. I'm gonna try to pick up all the new things when they come out, or before they come out if Paradox gives me access. I will totally be willing to do videos for that. And if there's anything that specifically interests you, then do let me know in the comment section, because well, then I'll try even harder to get that on here. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time.